Okay, this is video number 2. So in the previous video, I had not completely finished this. I just ran out of time. So the free version, which I just downgraded to because I'm using my Linux box primarily as my presentation box, um, was, and all right, so let me remove this hard disk that I created. I'm going to add it from scratch again. So again, hard disk, SCSI. We're going to use a virtual disk. Next, we're going to choose it wherever I put it. Remember, I put it in VMware. VMware gns3vm. You put it wherever you want to put it, but it's disk 001. That's going to be the primary disk. I hit OK. Disk 1 is disk 1, as it says in my notes over here. We'll hit finish. Keep the existing format. Again, I haven't played with converting it, so let's not do it. And there we are. And then I'm going to add the second disk. So that's where I was before. Add hard disk. Next, SCSI. Now I'm going to add the second disk, as this is going to be the disk that actually has the storage for the server. So it has two disks. It has a boot disk, a system disk, and then it has under options OPT mounting point. It's got a second hard drive. That'll be disk 2. There we go. Now both of these are VMDKs, which is the format for VMware. I'm also going to publish my QCOWs, as they're called. I haven't uploaded them yet, but that's Linux's or KVM's standard. The KVM I'm using uses QCOW. So if you're doing VMware, this is the way you should go. Most programs can convert over from VMDK. So there you go. All right, so probably download VMDK. So I'm gonna hit finish. I'll make this keep existing format, and I'll make the second hard disk. All right. So here's this hard disk. That's disk 2. And this is, that's disk 2. I want disk 2 up here. That's funny. That they did them in that order. I don't want them in that order. That might cause a problem. I want this to be disk 1, and I want this to be disk 2. Alright, so that's 0, 1, and I want this one to be 0, 0. Okay, they're just listing them in that order, which is annoying, but maybe after if I close it and bring it back up, they'll fix it. But this one's 0, 0, so this is going to be the primary disk. And this has the boot sector. This one does not have a boot sector, so it should boot off disk 1. Options, again, that's where we have the name. Actually, I want to go to hardware. I want to go to processors. This is important. In order for KVM to work, you need to click Virtualize Intel VT or AMD VRVI. This allows for this virtual machine to have virtual machines running inside of it. So, because we're going to have essentially virtual machines running inside virtual machines. Someone made the joke earlier, is Leonardo DiCaprio in there somewhere? And I said, yes, spinning a top. So, yeah, so that's what's going to allow that to work. So you have to click this on as well. And that's in here somewhere. Ensure that virtualization is enabled. See, I didn't get to it yet. Boot and check. We're ready to go. Let's give it a boot. Let's see. Give it the good old boot. So I'm going to hit OK. We have ourselves a non-working piece of virtual hardware. Let's give it a play, see if it's working. Drum roll, please. Chopin is doing his best to be dramatic. Remind me later. Okay, getting a couple error messages, but that's not bad considering. All right, and it looks like it's booting up. I think I shouldn't have messed with the resolution so much, because the resolution looks really not happy. I probably went with a lower resolution, not a higher one. Matter of fact, can I change that in mid-stride? Let's try. Let's go to display. No, I cannot. Of course I cannot. So this is your server. GNS version server 2.25. Yay. Ubuntu version, Bionic Beaver. Exciting. Virtualization VMware. KVM support available. True. Right off the bat, things are looking good, right? So my checklist, we'll have to check connectivity. It says it has IP at 10.16.2.150. We'll have to check that. So we can check for internet. That would be one thing we're going to do soon. But KVM, right off the bat, KVM support. It is indeed true. We have KVM support. I'm going to hit OK. And let's just give it a whirl. This is kind of small. It's working. I don't know. Let's roll with it. All right. Well, the display is big, is what's going on, and the overall display small. So anyway, so let's give it a test. Let's test internet connectivity. In theory, that's all I really need to do. I can give you a much more detailed. You can play around with it more if you want. Survey says, okay, internet. Boy, everything's just working. Hopefully everything's working for you too. I did really expect something to go wrong. All right, well that seems to be happy. I'm gonna just put this over here in the corner. No one puts baby in the corner. And then we're gonna install GNS3, which again is that download we did. I have it here in my downloads folder. Here's GNS3. We'll give that an install. And we should be just about done. We're going to talk about a little bit of procedures of when you open things up, and then that will be the end of the video. So I'm installing GNS3, which I had uninstalled, so I can go through this install process. I wanted to talk about this. Notice WinPCAP is a possible install. Go ahead and install it. That way you can capture packets if you so want during. I probably won't have you do WinPCAP and Wireshark. I probably won't have you do too many packet maybe during troubleshooting. That would be good, actually. So it has a VNC viewer. Yeah, install that. It has its own PuTTY. If you have a PuTTY or you have a different TTY emulation software that you prefer, great. If you don't have a TTY emulation software, which is probably most normal people, go ahead and install Solar PuTTY. It's all been set up to work with it automatically. Okay, so I'm going to click Next. It's going to install all this stuff. It's a lot of stuff, so it's going to run. And I'm going to pause the video to save a little bit of time, and I'll stop it when it's done or if it asks any questions. Thanks. It was all of 2 seconds that we saved, and it asked me about the WinPCAP install. I'm going to agree to the open license, automatically start it at boot time. If you're a nerd, you don't have to do that. You can start it. I'm trying to remember the command off the top of my head. I'm not a Windows person anymore. There is a command, net start. Anyway, there's a way to stop. If you do it automatically, you don't have to worry about it, although you're technically wasting a little bit of resources by running it every time you're doing it. It is now downloading the latest Wireshark. Again, I'm going to pause it until it asks a question. So it's informing that it's done installing everything. It downloaded the Solar PuTTY. It downloaded the latest Wireshark and installed it all in the background. So I'm going to click Next. Do I want a free license? No, nothing's for free. Next, and then we can tell it to start right up. Let's not do that. We'll just hit finish. It's going to boot us up. It'll bring up a web page telling us how awesome GNS3 is. Fantastic. All right, let's minimize that. Let's go into GNS3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to again put it to the start bar, because this pretty much is what this device's purpose in life is going to be, is me to troubleshoot people's Windows issues for GNS3. So there you go, GNS3. I'm going to click on it. I loaded it up. It's going to think a little bit. It's taking a lot longer to think than I think it should. That's a little nerve-wracking. See, everything can't go perfect. Well, there it goes. Just took a little bit longer than I thought it would. All right, so when it first comes up, Setup Wizard is going to pop up. It's going to tell you, how do you want to run this? If you don't want to set up multiple profiles, and that way you can run it locally and everything, you just want it nice and simple, click Run Appliances on a remote server. That very bottom one, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to specify the server. Now, we already know the IP address, and this is actually another big test I need to do, is I need to ping it from my workstation, and hopefully I got pinging. There you go. So I'm able to get to my the VMware, this server, right? And we already know, I think it's the very top one, information, what IP address it's running. It's running 10.16.2.150, all right? That's what I'm able to ping from my host. Fantastic. That's the IP we're going to put in. 10.16.2.150. 3080. I have no authentication on there. We're not there yet. And I'm going to hit Next. And it's going to stop the local server. This will take a while. And I should probably update my thing here. Check KVM support. Good to go. So there you go. It came up. Hit finish. Well, I was close to the connection. I'm not liking that, but that might be. Oh, that's this. Okay. So again, you can convert this. You can modify this. I would go full screen on it, by the way. You can put the topology summary over here. I put it on the right-hand side. The main server list, I like keep an eye on this, but I'm really concerned about that RAM getting eaten up. But now, if I do file, so this is the way I like my setup, everything on the bottom. You can put it other places. You could actually shrink this down too, so you don't have eating up so much room. And you have a nice big workspace. It's up to you. If you click on this, woo, I got a router. Believe me, these are hard to set up on your own, but feel free to try. Here's the iOS router for our switch, and then we also, for fun, we have a firewall, which I don't think we'll get to in this class, but we will be playing with it, internet security too. And we have some virtual machines here. This is what I use for a web server. All right, so I'm going to do open. I'm going to hit projects library. Just case in point, let's open up project, or practice, excuse me, practice to, I'm going to call it practice. Now, when I open these up, I'm going to click it once. I'm going to highlight it. And when I highlight it, I don't want to open it, because if I open it, I'm modifying that particular project, right? In the case of gns3, they call it project practice. It's going to be interchangeable for the rest of this video. Sorry. Okay, so don't open it directly. Don't hit OK here. Hit duplicate. And when you hit duplicate, this is for your own records. It's not going to eat up a whole lot of room. You're already eating up 3 gig anyway with this hard drive. I personally have been putting my initial and the date. I would put some kind of date, maybe just, month and day. You don't have to put today's full date. Today's the 23rd. I put the whole thing there just to have it, okay? And I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to create that duplicate, all right? Now whatever changes I make to that duplicate is going to be to that file, not to the master file. So if you make screw-ups, you want to start over, you can go back to the original file. That's how I would recommend doing it. Otherwise than that, you can re-download the whole VM and create another virtual machine. That's your call. All right, I'm going to hit OK. There you go. And it's going to download it. And there you go. That's the project. All right. Or practice. Excuse me. That'll be practice for 2.2. All right. There we go. That's everything. If you want to make your own project, you can do that. You just do File, New Project. Call it My PRG, because you can do your projects. You might have to do your projects remotely using this. So My Project 101, or you put your initials and the date, or whatever you want to do. Hit OK. You're going to get a blank screen. You want to drag something out. Here's a switch. Yay, a switch. We got a router. Yay, a router. By the way, I'm on the everything thing here. That's what I had. If I want to connect up the two, I bring up the connectee up thing. I click on what port I want to connect with. We'll just do 0, 0, and we'll connect it to the last port here, which is 3, 3. We'll talk about the meaning of that, why it's called 0, 1, and 1, and 3, 3. So anyway, there we go. If I want to start something up, I'm going to right-click on it, and I hit Start. Or I can click this button, and this starts all nodes at the same time. Whee! We're going to make the server work. Watch that server jump up. Okay, so there we go. We have a router going to a switch, and let's just put another switch for giggles, and we'll connect that up to show you how easy it is. 0, 0, we'll go to 1, 3 here. All right, don't forget, it's turned off right now. That's why the light is red. I just right-click on it. I say Start. In Windows, you're going to see it differently when I give demonstrations on how to do this. I'm going to get my terminal screen up. You're going to get a TTY simulator. So, and I should. Oh yeah. All right, and let's put a web term device on too. That eats up a little bit more resources, as you'll see. But there it is. I got 1 minute left to go. So I'm going to connect this up too. All right, and I'll start it up. Start up everything. There we go. All right, let's turn off the connector. See, I'm still in connector mode. I have the crossy thing. Let's turn that off. So if I bring up a terminal, I'm going to right-click and hit console. I'm going to get SolarWinds, hopefully. It's going to think a little bit more because it's loading up a whole new program. And there you go. I got SolarWinds, and this is their theme, orange on black. That's the way they like it. You can play with those settings up here with your settings. You can change the colors, set up scripts, that kind of stuff. Anyway, you can play with that. All right, let's close that. All right. Also, if you have this up and you go right-click, I hit console. It's going to bring up Type VNC Viewer, which will load up quick because it's fast. This is the end of the video. I'm out of time. Sorry. So this is video 2, and I hope it works for you. Bye.